This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hi guys. Good morning and good evening to everyone. So let's get started. So we talked about like how to perform reading the data from a database table and get it transferred to a file. And we have also tried in other way around also, like how to read data from a flat file and get it transferred to relational table. I think we tried both the options. In second option or second example from file to database, we have faced some problems, right? So we have also understood like how to solve those problems. One based on the header, second based on the type, third based on extra columns. So these problems we have seen it and we could able to resolve it by supplying appropriate input. Yeah. So yes, now let us try to understand or let us try to recap like what we discussed with respect to what features that we discussed in ChatGPT. I'll just try to recap so that whatever we are doing practically, right, are we in sync with what we discussed earlier with respect to features or not? Yeah. So yeah. So we all know that ChatGPT of whatever, right? It is a multi-layered neural network. Yeah. So and we can supply n number of what we call neurons, yeah, as input here, which are what multi-layered. Remember that, yeah. Then GPT 4 or even 3.5 can communicate with different languages, but the count is different in 3.5 compared with what 4, yeah. And we can supply n number of inputs, especially in this case, we can 2,500 words, or sorry, 25,000 words, or 52 pages of text at a time. Yeah. So we can also see like a generating code with the different programming languages. So we primarily focused on Python. So we don't need to focus on too many languages. So depending upon the kind of industry or kind of domain that we deal with, we can choose a proper programming language to generate the code and see are we getting the expected result in the specified target or targets or not. Yeah, I think we have seen or we have done many examples on that. Yeah, and we have also talked about what you call how we can make use of ChatGPT to perform what natural language conversion, where user can supply the input and expect what the corresponding response. Like we talked about many examples like filtering, router, aggregation, sorting, remove duplicates, DB operations, or simple file-based operations, uh, and with what you call some more basic operations, right, where we supply some input, we could able to see the corresponding result, right? So language translation, I think we have seen like how to convert what you call text from one language with another language. Yeah. So yeah, that is required in the context of data warehousing in case if we deal with what NLS, native language support. Yeah, in that case, so we need to first create one resource bundle wherein we can have what I call language related actual values and then use that as input to convert from one to another. Yeah. So that's in reality that we do in data warehousing, right? So like either an analysis tool or quality tool or ETL or MDM, whatever, right? In all the cases, we go with what resource bundles. Yeah. So which means we can also supply bundle as input. Based on that, translation can take place so that we can take that as input for what warehousing. Yeah. So now the question next is what sentiment analysis. Remember, this thing is not that much required in the context of data warehousing. Yeah, because this will be used to analyze sentiment of text. So providing users with insights with the emotional tone of a message is basically used in media industry. There's a special sentimental analysis, but in the context of data warehousing, so we don't use this thing much. But text summarization, we use it in data warehousing also because let us say we need to perform some hierarchical operations. So we are going to get what I call too many what I call or too many lines of text in order to summarize what I call very detailed uh, content to what fewer lines. From that we can understand what is that particular what I call detailed paragraph or detailed what I call number of pages. Yeah. So in the sense we can just summarize n number of lines to n minus m so that we can understand like what this particular article or story or any book like what it says, right? So this is a very good feature, guys, in ChatGPT 4. We can also use it for data warehousing. For example, let's say there is a book written by somebody based on what data warehousing. Now the question, in order to read and understand, it would take a lot of time. Now the question, if we but we need to understand that, so we can just ask ChatGPT to convert what is a complete book in a short form, so that we can easily understand like what that particular book talks about. Yeah. So which means short form of long story is going to help us a lot to understand like what it contains. Remember, especially in data warehousing also, we can make use of this particular feature. Yeah. Now personalization part, it's basically these things are specific to again media industry, but warehousing it's not going to help much. Yeah. And now content creation, this is okay to some extent will be useful in the context of data warehousing. For example, let us say we need to send some alerts. One with respect to pager notification, second with respect to email notification, third with respect to what events or simply triggers. In three cases, this content creation is going to help us. That's one thing. And another thing is what? Let us say we need to provide the documentation for the solution that we have built it based on what SCD type 1, SCD type 2, SCD type 3, or type 4, whatever, right? So which means that's an example I'm trying to give. Let's say you have built a solution, but you have not provided documentation to understand like what it does. So we can just what you call ask ChatGPT to generate what the comments for the solution that you have built it, so that we could understand. We in the sense anybody can understand just by looking at the code. Remember that, which means what? If you try to supply what you call specific prompts, based on that we could able to get description or comments that can be created based on what like MDM or quality or analysis or simply adding comments for each and every line in a code. So which means we can generate a content in any case. Not only that, let us take one more example. Let us say we need to build a complete end-to-end scenario starting from reading the data from n number of source systems where the structure is same or different or unstructured application, whatever, any kind of data that need to be read within this what you call chat GPT. Then once you read it, profile it, and then once you profile, then as a result of profiling, what we get it, guys, you'll get issues. So we can identify issues within chat GPT, fix those issues by using chat GPT, then by using data quality tools we do, right? Same thing can also do it in chat GPT. Then output of that will be taken as input to MDM, where we can also take care of match and merge. Yeah. So which means then followed by ETL, then followed by building warehouse. So all of those things could also be taken care by using what ChatGPT, which means ChatGPT is going to help us not only just textual creation, but we can also build a solution based on, let us say, data warehouse, because we are trying to focus on what data warehouse, right? So that's it. Yeah. So that's where the content creation. This is going to be one of the very important feature of ChatGPT. Yeah. Now the next thing, customer support. Remember, guys, like for example, let us say there is a Salesforce and there is a some data integration tool or Informatica Cloud example. Now we need to make these two are separate applications, right? So Informatica Cloud is one application, Salesforce another application. Now, so we need to make them to talk to each other by asking questions. Yeah. So in that case also we can use customer support. Yeah. So which means in Informatica Cloud we have guide designer where we can make use of Salesforce to talk to ISCS in an interactive mode. We all know that, right? But same thing can also be done by using what ChatGPT. Like how do we do that? We are going to talk about it with practical examples. Like how do you make these two applications to talk to each other in an interactive mode? Remember, guys, that's where the customer support. This is a general message you can see here, but I'm trying to talk about it in the context of what data warehousing. Yeah. So this is normally if you take any BPOs, right? That's what they do, right? So many frequent asked questions. We can also just put it in decision making blocks and based on the user question, right? Yeah, it will just provide resolution automatically. That's what the bot does. Yeah. But in the context of warehousing, I think I talked about one example. Yeah. So analysis, remember guys, so we all know that in the context of data warehousing, so we can perform different kinds of profiling techniques. For example, if you want to identify issues with respect to what each column, then we go with what column profiling. Yeah, in that we can carry out analysis for data and also metadata. Yeah, so that's where data analysis part comes in. So we can give some input, then we can see the result based on what analysis. Let's say duplicates or nulls or any meta type issues or any range of data issues or any pattern issues, whatever, right? Such things we can also identify by using what ChatGPT. Now the question, can we take care of dealing with large volume of data as part of analysis? With ChatGPT, yes. With existing data integration tools, is no. In many many analysis tools, especially if you take informatic analyst, it doesn't take care of what I call analyzing large data in a short time. But with ChatGPT, we can do it. Remember, yeah. So that's where analysis part comes in. Likewise, we have got primary key profiling, foreign key profiling, cross table analysis, function dependency analysis, foreign key analysis, whatever, right? So, which means what? All such kinds of profiling techniques could be accomplished quite easily by using what? ChatGPT. Remember that. Clear, guys? Now, anyway, we'll talk about it with some examples like how to perform analysis based on each column. So, we supply some sample data as input and see how ChatGPT is going to help us in order to what carry out analysis. We will see that. Yeah. Now, so based on this analysis, so we can just get into next layer, which is a quality layer, where we can apply appropriate fix or cleansing operation to get that job done. Just fix those issues. That's what it means. Yeah. Then we have what you call chatbot integration. Remember, guys, we can integrate ChatGPT with what chatbot platforms to provide more advanced conversion capabilities. For example, so we talked about customer support, right? In that case, also we can build one chatbot to take care of that customer support. Similar for integration context. For example, just now I talked about Salesforce with data integration tool, or Salesforce with Amazon, or let us say we have one portal application with another portal application, or portal application with some cloud, it's an Informatica cloud. In all cases, we can build one particular chatbot where we can make those guys to talk to each other by building what? One bot. Yeah. So we can also build one bot to perform many domain activities. I think one day I was trying to talk about even agriculture related activities also could be performed by having what? Appropriate chatbot. Uh, so that's it. Yeah, about what I call the major features that we have within this chat GPT. Yeah. Now let me talk about some basic things like what we do as part of what prompt engineering. Yeah. So chat GPT features we discussed to some extent. Now let us also talk about like what we do as part of what prompt engineering. Remember, right? So in this case, I think you all could able to see this particular presentation, right? Where the first and foremost feature is what? Model size. Remember, guys, ChatGPT has got multiple versions like 3, 3.54, whatever, right? So, but if you take first model size, so 3 it takes care of many parameters, but GPT-4 it takes much more than that. Just remember that. So training data, this particular GPT-3 till 2019 whatever for 21. Yeah, in the sense, so we have to train based on what latest model, so which is it could be simple LLM, which is large learning model, or deep learning, whatever, right? We'll just train it and keep the data ready for any customer so that they can just chat with GPT to get the job done. Which means what? We are trying to chat with a pre-trained data. Remember that. Yeah, both the cases 3 and 4, right? Now, performance wise, we can see high performance in NLP tasks. Remember, guys, NLP means natural language processing. Yeah. So, but if you go with particular GPT-4, performance wise, it is better. But anyway, as we all know that version to version, there will be some delta change. Here the change is what? Performance got improved with respect to what? NLP task. NLP task means what? Humans will ask some question, you'll get the response from GPT. That's it. Yeah. Which means for a given input, we expect what corresponding response with improved what performance in with ChatGPT 4. Yeah. And the next feature is what coherence. Remember, guys. So coherence basically it is good in the context of GPT-3, but sometimes you'll get what irrelevant responses in the case of what GPT-3 that has been solved by using what GPT-4. That is why, guys. So if you try to provide some input, right, sometimes you'll get what valid response. Sometimes you will not get it. In such cases, what we need to do, we need to change the prompt for better solution, or totally we can also ask, let's say totally we can ask different question, so that question will be understood by pre-trained GPT, so that you get corresponding response, which means what it is always advisable to ask what context specific question, or ask as specific question as possible, so that you'll get what the right response from GPT. Remember, guys, which means what with respect to coherence, right? GPT-4 is much better than GPT-3 because so because accuracy is much better with GPT-4 because this is based on what latest model, because GPT is based on language model, right? So it's the latest model where they have taken care what better accuracy and better what you call good reliability, and also what you call uh, what you call getting it processed in a short time, which is improved performance. Yeah? So now the next question, let's say though we supplied all the input size, all that, now we need to make sure that whether we could able to perform any fine tuning for the given input or not. So with this particular both GPT-3 and GPT-4, we can fine tune the prompt. You know, let's say you supplied some prompt, you get it modified. Likewise, you can go with what n number of iterations till you reach your goal. So which means till you expect the result of what you need, till that you can keep on fine tuning your prompt. So that is better if you go with what GPT-4 compared with GPT-3, right? Now the next question, with respect to limitations, GPT-3 has got many limitations because uh, training data, one, it is less, and second, model is not that matured. That is why GPT-3 has got many limitations. But with respect to accuracy, include even GPT-4 is not that accurate, guys. But if you try to supply appropriate input, right, even with chat GPT-3 also you'll get accurate result. But it all depends on what our patience and asking questions. Yeah. So let's say if you ask some question, if you don't get valid response, ask same question in a different way till you get the what? Till you get the accurate response. But there is a provision to get it done even with what? GPT-3, provided our inputs should keep on getting changed. In GPT-3, so even if you give what some sort of invalid input also, you can still get the result, which is not the case with GPT-3. Yeah. But anyway, still it is not what I call accurate, guys. Even GPT-4 also, because still they keep on what I call fine tuning the models, like language models, right? So they're still doing it. Yeah. So now let us talk about two models. Let's say GPT 3.5 and 4. So now let us take, there are three inputs. Based on that, how GPT 3.5 and how GPT 4 they are going to react. For example, with respect to reasoning, this is quite okay. But with respect to reasoning, GPT 4 is what? Much better. In the sense, with respect to understanding, with respect to creativity, with respect to obtaining possible answers with respect to what creating what I call a providing the tips in case we have asked a wrong question. All such things would be dealt quite easily by using what GPT-4, whereas in GPT 3.5 it is not that great with respect to what reasoning. Now speed wise GPT 3.5 is faster than GPT-4 because they have included a lot of complex mathematical and also textual and also pattern based operations within the GPT-4 model. As a result, the performance will be degraded. That's why the speed wise GPT-4 is not that great. Yeah? And conciseness, so this particular 3.5 it's okay, but GPT-4 is much better. Yeah? So now let us talk about some of the capabilities with respect to both 3.5 and 4.0 and see the limitations for each of those capabilities. For example, if you try to convert what you call talk about conversational activities, which means you ask for something, you get some response, and responses could be inaccurate also sometimes. So, which means what? As a human, we need to make sure that we could get accurate result. Till you get it, you should keep on changing the input text. Yeah. So, but sometimes it will not give the right response. So we have to take a judgment whether it is right or wrong. Yeah. For that, I think we have done some examples just to confirm the result is accurate or not. Yeah. And generating content. Remember, guys, see, content can be created one to write a post, to write an article, to write a paragraph, to build, so to perform mathematical computation, whatever, right? Content could be any kind of text. Text could be based on numerical or simple string, or it could be based on what alphanumeric. It could be anything. Yeah. But how you phrase the input text is going to be the challenging part with respect to what the solution provider. But it is not if we try to give some wrong input text, so you'll not get that great response from both GPT 3.5 and 4. So that's where if you try to provide proper phrasing from any user input, right, then you'll get to see the corresponding response. So translation part, yes, for it supports many languages, but it's not that much verbosity. So it means still we have limitations. And problem solving, guys, remember, see, this is just artificial emission, right? Yes or no? Which is a pre-trained and kept the data ready. That's what we do, right? We did the data from internet, right, and then keep it in one place. And the question that you ask, if there is a pre-trained data available, then you'll get the response, or else you'll not get the response. So, which means what? Problem solving, yes, to some extent it does, but in some cases it is not. Yeah. Not only that, let us say if we have some problem which is based on what today's trend, thus GPT is going to solve that problem. Answer is no, because as we discussed earlier, 3 works till 2019, 4 works till 2021, whatever, right? It is a fixed till that date and time only it could respond. If you try to ask what a question based on today's or latest date and time, you will not get the expected response. Yeah. So learning from context bias, guys. Remember, guys, let us say we are focusing on one context, which is the data warehousing. Yeah, and try to ask question which is not related to what this context, then you will have limitations with respect to what producing the right result. That is why we should ask question based on what context, and the terms that we use should be based on what that particular context, so that you can expect the right response if you try to ask context specific questions. Remember that, right? And then with respect to future, right, remember guys, so there is going to be significant impact and job market, as I said earlier. So most of the things that could be done by using what existing applications or existing tools, existing programming languages, um, or testing related things, all of them can be done quite easily by using what ChatGPT. Yeah, provided we just have to supply the proper input. Meaning what? So tools can be replaced with what? Prompts. Just remember. Yeah, tools, applications, program developers, or even testers, architects, designers. You can take any role, even data stewards. All of those roles and responsibilities will be replaced just by using what? R- Providing right prompt. So that is why. So when it comes to job market, right, there is going to be a lot of opportunities in prompt engineering. Yeah. So and there is going to be a lot of job cuts, like whoever is working on any tool or application or programming or like a developers, all of those employees are going to get impacted in this year and also next year. By end of 2025, more than I think, based on economic survey, right, more than 60% of job cuts would take place. Yeah. So in reality, number which I got from that survey was around 850 million jobs, but that number is, you cannot trust on that, but around 60% of jobs there is going to be impact. Yeah. But new jobs, as I said, so it will be more than whatever cuts happen by using what? Prompt engineering. That's why we should be up to date, um, based on AI tools, so that we could able to take care of whatever activity that we have done, right? For example, let's say you are a ETL developer, you know, or MDM architect, or let us say data analyst, or let us say subject matter expert, whatever. So whatever role that you have, so we don't care. So because ChatGPT will take care of everything. Yeah. Now the question: if you don't try to get into this particular what you call ChatGPT or any other AI space, your job will be replaced, because that's what the trend is going to be. But maybe a year or two you'll be there. After that, I think most of the companies will try to move towards this. Yeah, fine. So yeah, which means we need to move fast with the future. Now let us go with what? Automation and management. So remember guys, let's say we have got a DevOps. There are lots of tools within that, right? Like for example, we have Jenkins, we have Kubernetes, whatever. So where they'll make use of GitHub or some repository to perform what? Continuous development, continuous integration. Yes or no? So which means DevOps have become popular and most widely used to perform what? Automation activities. We all know that. Now the question: do we still need to depend on that after having expertise on, let's say, ChatGPT? Answer is no, because whatever could be done with ChatGPT. For example, Jenkins guys are in DevOps, right? They have to write some script. That's also not required here, because if just I try to supply some input, right, it will just create a script. You can just go and run it. So as a solution provider, we just need to know how to execute it, rather than what, like how it works. We don't care, like what, how Jenkins works, how GitHub works, how Kubernetes works, how some other tools within this DevOps are going to work. We don't care. So what we care here is what is expected. If you try to what you call supply the expectation as input to this particular chat GPT, and rest would be taken care by chat GPT. So we don't need to do anything over here, just have to execute it. So which means what? So though the DevOps have become popular in the recent past, that also would get replaced. Which means what? Whatever tool or tools or whatever applications where you or anybody is working, right? All of them will be replaced quite easily by using ChatGPT. If you ask any kind of question in any industry of any sort, I myself can provide the input to get this problem solved. You know? So that's what recently I've just done it for one of the automobile industry. Based on this chat GPT, we could able to perform it, especially Robert Bosch. It's one of the manufacturing company. We know that, right? Fine. Anyway, so we have done it practically. No? Now, so when it comes to roles, right? So AI trainers, AI atheists, and also policymakers. You can think of many more, solution providers, and also mediators or data analysts. With respect to what AI, we can have multiple roles in the what we call AI side. And prompt engineering, as I said, that is going to be the future. Remember, it's because if you know like how to supply the proper prompt, then your job is done. Nothing else is required. That's all is going to be the future. Remember, guys. Yeah. So now, anyway, this is too early to talk about too many things now. For now, I can just remember that prompt engineering is going to be the piece of what you call or hot in the coming years. Let's say at least from this year, it is going to start. From next year, it is going to have a lot of impact in job market. This year, I think people still assess this particular AI tools, right? Some they've already done it, but some they're still doing it. So now, introduction to prompt engineering. Remember, guys, because now we know why we need prompt engineering, all that, right? So how prompt engineering is going to have impact on what jobs, any kind of job, whatever role that you are playing doesn't matter at all. You don't need experience, nothing is required. If you have experience, okay, it's a plus, little plus, not much. But what we need to do when it comes to prompt engineering, you need to have what you call creative knowledge. So which means once you have better creativity, right, then you can build proportionate what you call accurate with respect to building a solution. Remember that. Yeah. So which means what experience is not going to play very key role. It's not going to play, remember that. Yeah. So what is going to play key role is what? Creativity. That's what matters a lot when it comes to what? Prompt engineering. But if you have what you call experience in some, let's say warehousing or Salesforce or some other specific industries, it's okay, it's a plus, but it's not mandatory. you know. So yeah, creates a prompts with high quality outputs. That is a goal, but that is not possible with existing ChatGPT if you try to supply any kind of input. Yeah, but but as a solution provider, we should be in a position to change what? The prompt. So based on that, we could expect what? The accurate result. Which means what we should keep on what you call fine tuning the prompt till you reach your end goal. Remember that, right? So that's it. Now let us talk about the steps that we follow as part of this particular prompt engineering. One is going to be what? Defining the task. Yeah. For example, let us say we just have to perform simple mathematical operation. For instance, C equal to A plus B. In this, A and B are the operands with arithmetic additive operator. So if you try to what you call apply A and B as input, right? you'll get a C as a result of this particular mathematical expression. So which means what? Here the task is what? Compute mathematical formula. Second, let us say in the context of data warehousing. So we supply, let's say, input data. It's a flat file data as input. Now answer is what? We expect what? Result of or identifying the issues from a given input file. So that is going to be the output format. Now the question, another example. Let us say we supply some input data in any form and we expect like how much is the accuracy or how much is the data quality that we could get it as a result of this particular input data. So likewise, we can think of several examples where we can key in the input and expect what corresponding result in that particular specific context. Remember guys, this particular defining a task would be varied from domain to domain, industry to industry, or tool to tool, or application to application. So that is why we should always define context specific task. Remember that. So this is going to be a generic name here, but at the time of building a solution, we should make sure that we define what context specific task so that we can expect the corresponding response based on that particular context. For example, let's say we are trying to build a solution to build data warehouse. For that, we need to supply the what you call data warehouse specific task. Right? Remember that. Yeah. Now generating prompt. Remember, guys, so we are trying to what we call supply the prompt, which is going to be the input. Yeah? But output, you get it based on what? Pre-trained data, which is GPT, which means what? If the GPT is trained with a large learning model or deep learning model or any other model, which is going to what you call meet our requirements, right? That is more than enough. Now the question, if you look at existing language models that we have in the market, ChatGPT is going to be the topmost language model. Yeah. So we have others, but they are specific to what? Some specific areas. But with ChatGPT, we can take care of what? Most of the areas. That is why ChatGPT has become more popular. Yeah. Not only that, ChatGPT would support what? Not only simple text, it can also support image. Though it's not accurate, it can still take care of it. So which means what? Prompt could be based on what? A simple text, or it could be image, or it could be video, or it could be mix of both, or it could be even any kind of what unstructured form of data also. In the sense, any kind of data can be taken as input to this chat GPT. So based on that, we could get the response because GPT is already pre-trained with a large learning model along with what other deep learning techniques. That is why ChatGPT has got able to take care of many things. Yeah. So now the question, evaluation of this particular prompt. So testing and assessing the prompt. How do you guarantee that whatever prompt that we supplied is in par with business expectation or not? So that also could be verified by supplying what? The input to this chat GPT and see how much is accuracy that we could get it as a result of the input prompt, which means you can also evaluate like for example, let's say we are trying to ask for some question with the chat GPT, compare this particular response against with what existing tools. For example, let's say we have got quality tool and see how much is the quality that we could get it with existing tool and try to compare against with ChatGPT and see do we have similar quality percentage or is better than what was produced by tool. So that way we can evaluate your input or your prompt and see the level of accuracy that you have with respect to supplying the prompt. Remember that. Now the question, so you have not reached the end goal after supplying your own prompt. Now the next question, how do you take care of it? That's where we can start getting into refining the prompt so that we could able to take care of what you call the issues uh, with respect to previous prompts. So that's where we can just change, adjust words, adjust phrase, adjust sentence, modify filters, modify what you call word swapping, all that. you know so which means what, depending upon context or a domain that we deal with. So if you try to make use of specific to that particular domain, what are those parameters or input words, you can say, then you could get what final results. In the sense, you should keep on refining the input prompt so that you could get the proportionate accuracy with respect to producing the solution based on ChatGPT. Yeah. So this process, we should keep on repeating it. Remember, guys, repetition part is okay for entry level people, but once you get some experience with respect to one, the usage of ChatGPT, and second, with respect to what, the domain that you are working with, once you get experience on both of these areas, from next time onwards, we should be in a position to supply what, specific question to ChatGPT so that you will get what right at the first time, rather than going with what general prompt, then iterating till you get to final thing and finally refine it. So that's going to be the iterative process that we need to cut down once you get used to with what you call chat gpt along with what domain. That's it. These are the common steps that we follow as part of this particular prompt engineering. Clear, guys? So yeah, so now let us try to do one or two what you call examples so that you will understand what you call how ChatGPT is going to help us to solve some problems. Yeah. So before we get there, can you see there are different types of prompts supported by prompt engineering? See, there are just common sense things, guys. But yes, they are given some names. Let us stick to that. Zero shot prompt. So which means what? You are not sure about what we are doing. Which means no training, no specific training data. So blindly this chat GPT, let's say, or any model, what you call, has been used as part of GPT without training. So in that case, you'll get a response based on general knowledge, but it's not that accurate. Remember that. Yeah. So which means what? Accuracy wise, reliability wise, is not that great with what, zero shot prompt. Now the next question, which means what, no prior training on the specific topic. No training is required for ChatGPT. So we can say it's a raw form of ChatGPT. Yeah. Now, yeah, example, you can just supply some input, then create some content. It's in this case meditation. You'll get the response. Yeah. This is what we call zero shot response. Few shot means what? Small amount of training data, which means ChatGPT itself is based on what? Pre-trained data, small amount. Now you'll get the response based on the input that we supply. Now the question, as a result of this particular few shot prompt, you'll get accurate response, yeah, to similar prompts which are already trained by ChatGPT. Yeah. So example, let's say here you can see translate the following sentence into German, like I am feeling good today, whatever. Now it will convert that to what, in a German. So in German language, as we all know that ChatGPT can also be used for language translation. Yeah, that's where we talked about NLS, native language support, right? So in that case, we can still make use of this ChatGPT. But anyway, so now few shot means what? We'll try to provide the input which is not a zero shot with some specific
words. Yeah. Now the next question, fine tuning. Yeah. So trained on specific task or a domain. That's what I was saying. Context, which is a domain. Then ChatGPT, where we supply, where we input the specific question. If we have trained, in the sense, let's say we have got experience on both ChatGPT, a domain, then we can ask specific question so that you'll get what the right result. So accuracy wise, it is much better than what it was with a zero shot prompt and fewer words or fewer input prompt. Remember, guys. So which means what? This is going to be a success story in the sense once you get experience, right? We can directly get into what supplying the fine tuning prompt so that you'll get what accurate result or accurate response. So that's fine. This is an example. See here, detailed prompt has been given as input here. So you'll get to see detailed response. That's it, guys. Other prompts we'll talk about it as we go on. So let us try to do one or two examples. Yeah. For example, so write a Python script. Yeah, example, or write a Python code to what I call create a stored procedure example. Yeah. Stored procedure based on the sample. I'll just give what sample department table and emp table. Yeah. Sample, let us see what it does. So which means what, we are not what you call, or let us say based on two tables. I'll just give what based on two tables. Yeah. Fine, let us see. This is what I call like a zero shot prompt. Yeah. So which means we are not specifying the tables or whatever. It is going to give what generic response. Yeah. So it's high level response. If you try to look at this particular code where it is connected to some database, then creating a table like a table 1, another table 2, then insert some sample data to this table 1 and table 2, then got it committed and create what custom stored procedure. So whatever, right? Then call this particular stored procedure. So control goes here and perform this particular simple execution of this view creation, whatever. So this is the simple or general what you call uh, a prompt. Now the question, fine tune fine tune above code based on what department and emp table. Let us see that. Yeah. So which means we are asking for what specific question based on what two separate tables, department and employee. Can you see here department and employee? See, we got specific columns earlier, what generic columns. So this is how if you try to ask specific question, then you could expect what specific response, like what we can see clearly over here. Remember, right? Now we can also ask, let us say yes, we are asking for stored procedure creation, right? Now if you look at here stored procedure, right? So select some from employee, so based on what department id and department name. You know? So join is happening based on department id with a where clause of what department name, which means what, if the department id from employee table matches with department id from department table, then it is performing, it is trying to get what corresponding employee name, whatever. Now let us say it's a modify above code to perform what I call a sample aggregation. Let's see, I'll try to put some general question with respect to what sp. Let us see what it does. It's a generic question, right? Sample aggregation, we are not asking for what type of aggregation that we need it. Let's see that, then we'll ask specific type of aggregation. See here, So now we can see many lines of code here. See here it is trying to perform count over here. Yeah. So before it performs count, can you see here it is inserted what? Data 1 to this particular insert in department table. Second, it is trying to insert sample data to employee table. Yeah. So based on which column it is trying to perform what you call aggregation based on department ID. Now we can see department ID in both the tables. Example here we can see what HR engineering whatever, right? This is going to be the department name, remember. Yeah. So but it is because it's inserted only department name over here. So if you look at here, user is going to supply department name where clause, right? So based on that it is trying to perform group by based on this department number, sorry, name. What is the aggregation we are trying to perform here? Count. And modify above code to perform what you call sum or sum of salary drawn in each department. Yeah. Yes, depth is also fine. Yeah. So now we are trying to modify. So that's what I think we talk different types of prompts, right? Zero shot, few shot, and finer. Broad three types of prompts, right? So now we are trying to give three. Initially generic, which is a zero shot, then fewer. Then now we are trying to give fine tuned one. See here, some salary. You can see, right? Some salary based on what join condition is a department ID and input is what? Department. For a given department we can get what? Some salary drawn from that particular department. That's it. So likewise we can keep on what modifying the input. Based on that we could get to see the corresponding response. This is an introduction to what I call prompt engineering. Along with that, we have also talked about some of the features which we compared against with what? Data warehousing. Yeah. So we'll extend this from here tomorrow, where we are going to perform practical examples and see whether we are going to get expected results as we expect or not. Fine. So that's all for today, guys. If you have any questions, you can shoot out. Yeah. So if there are no questions, then we'll stop here.
So, so after this, the prompt engineering concept, right? Or are we starting prompt
Yeah.
engineering?
Yeah. Yes, yes. That's what we are going to do now. Sridhar, yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
are you going to
yeah,
integrate with any of the databases or something with ChatGPT, or how it works?
anything. It could be database, could be file, doesn't matter. But here we are going to focus primarily on providing the right prompts. That's the primary focus. Sridhar?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, that's a good question.
Mr.
Got
Do you have any sample resumes for this prompt engineering, sir?
sample
Can
results in the
you
sense
sample resumes profiles?
resumes. Okay, I'll share it. I'll share that.
Good.
Sridhar? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Okay then. Yeah. Thanks to all guys. So we'll meet tomorrow at the same time, same link. Yeah.